Good evening, everyone. This is the final session this evening of the game of bite marks I'm running, set in Sheffield in the 1970s. I think so. Just to very briefly do the spiel. I mean, this is the last one, so I'd advise going back and checking the others first. But this bite marks is a game of Wealth Pack Dynamics by Becky Anderson of Black Armada Publishing. You can find out links to that where you can find out more about that game and buy it, even now in the links below. This game is being run as part of the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing community where we get together and play games like this. You can find more out about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. With that said, I'll just quickly ask each of my players to introduce themselves and their character, and then we'll get started. Brian, if I can start with you, please.
Sure. I am Brian, he, him, and I'm playing Jax, who he is the fixer, meaning he has connections with the human world, specifically the criminal and the unions.
Brilliant. Thank you. Then Bethany, if I can ask you to introduce yourself and your character next.
Oh, I was unmuted the whole time, and then I just muted myself. So I'm playing Jo, the prodigal, who has returned to the pack after staying away for a while, mostly to avoid drawing suspicion to the pack because she carelessly allowed somebody to find out she was a werewolf, and now she's trying to maybe trying to make up for that in a way, and with this like sort of zealous attempt to find these people who seem to be hunting werewolves. So nothing will go wrong with that. It's all fine.
Brilliant, thank you. And Puckett, if you'd like to introduce yourself and your character as well, please.
Hi, my name is Puckett, he, him pronouns. I am playing Garrett Heath, also he, him pronouns. Garrett is the kind of person who has seen what the future holds, doesn't like it, and has decided to change his future because he doesn't want to die in a mine cave-in or some steel mill accident. If he's going to go out, he wants to go out on his own terms, which may mean getting shot by werewolf hunters at a club night for Northern Soul that he plans to run. Who knows? It's better than dying in a mine cave-in.
Perfect, thank you very much. Before we begin, so I should say we'll be using safety tools this evening to just make sure that everyone's kind of happy with where things are going. As you know, this game can feature some violence and some fairly at times antagonistic, I suppose, character interactions. So just to make sure we're all on board with that, we've got some lines and veils set up in a tab in our character keeper, so you can refresh yourselves on those if you need to. So lines are things that we won't deal with at all on screen or as part of like character backgrounds, things like that. We'll just keep them off the table entirely. Veils are things where we might go into them, but we'll try and keep detail fairly sparse. We'll just kind of skip over them, move on to something else. I've also got a couple of things in there that I marked where you're free to sort of bring them into the story if you so wish. But I would, but you know, it's best if you just kind of have a quick out of character mention of that before, just to make sure that everyone's happy with the direction that things are going in. We will be using a couple of other safety tools, namely the script change by Bo Sheldon, which is a number of essentially like remote control commands that we'll use to kind of interject into scenes if need be. So primarily the first and probably most important one of those is pause. At any point you can call for a pause. This can be because you just like literally need a moment to like either just to kind of gather yourself if the scene gets a bit intense, or if you need to go and grab a drink or something, or whatever else. You can call for pause at any point. We will be taking kind of breaks on the hour, but so if at any other point you need to just take a break away, you can call for a pause or just go offline if need be. It can also be used to kind of, if you want to initiate a quick out of character discussion about something in a scene, just to clarify things, or if there's a sort of direction you don't want to see the scene go in, anything like that, we can just have a quick out of character chat and just make sure everyone's happy with where we're going. Fast forward can be used to kind of skip over something that either, if it's something that may be kind of a bit like a veil, it's like, okay, it's fine that happens, we just don't want to go into any detail on it. Or maybe if a scene is just getting a bit long and circular, and we just want to kind of move on to the exciting point in the scene, or move on to a new scene, or whatever else, you can call a fast forward. And rewind is used if we want to take a step back and change how things are going to go forwards, or it might even just be for something like you say, oh, actually, the way I phrased that isn't quite what I meant. I'd like to rewind and say it in a slightly different way. That's cool. And finally, we will also be X card. The X card can be invoked by holding up your hands in a sort of X sign in front of the camera, putting something in chat to say you'd like to X card it, or just saying I'd like to X card that in voice. When the X card is played, that we'll basically stop for a moment, check in with what we need to change, what needs to be removed for people to be happy moving forward with the scene or the game. If I might need to check in with you to sort of ask exactly what it is that you're wanting to X card if it's not like abundantly clear from context. But I won't ask you to justify why you're doing it if you're X-carding something that's enough, and that can either be because it's subject matter you're uncomfortable with, or you just feel like the tone is a bit off. Any of those are perfectly good reasons for using the X card. So yeah, that's our safety tools. So yeah, I will just quickly recap on what happened last time. So yeah, Jax had one of his acquaintances, a man named Liam Wainwright, ask him to help out with a little job which involved picking up some drugs from his brother, who this time was accompanied by another gangster, essentially from down in London, who Jax realized was also an alpha. The deal went down without any problems, but the man Arthur Lupson implied that he had some interest in the area. Fran, who isn't here at the moment, was doing some canvassing to try and get interest in the club night that Garrett's running, and Jo looked more into the man she'd seen after the hunt last time, which and after a conversation with one of the other pack members, Sarah Turner, she learned that this man was likely a member of an old hunter organization known as the Good Shepherds. The pack then essentially stalked the hunters, found where they were meeting, found indications that they have been stepping up their patrols of some of the popular hunting grounds, especially around the time of the full moon. And I think that was, broadly speaking, what happened last time. So I guess I will start this evening by just quickly checking in with Garrett and asking sort of what you've been up to in there. I think it's probably it's not been like a huge amount of time. It's probably been like a couple of days by this point since since last we saw Garrett.
Well, I've been busy as hell. You know how hard it is to get a sound system out here? I mean, to get turntables? Look, finding anything like a sound system like the one we need, I'm having to trade in favors, I'm having to give people favors, I'm having to call in old favors from people who don't necessarily want to remember that they owe me. Making this thing happen is not a small undertaking. Luckily, the pub owner he doesn't care. He doesn't think kids are going to show up. He doesn't think this is going to be anything. He thinks it's just going to be a little bit of noise upstairs for one night, and that's it. And it'll never happen again. And who cares? Yeah, wait till he's got a surprise coming.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, I think you've been able to finagle this this sound system. Things are getting set up there. So I think we'll maybe come in on things with a scene of the three of you together. I'm going to say
roll state of the pack yet now.
Oh, actually, yes, that's a good point. Yeah, no, go ahead, mate. Sorry, I always forget about that move.
All right, that is an 11.
Perfect. So I believe that means that, yep, in general, things are going well in the pack, and in addition, any of the other characters who attempt to disobey any of your orders this session roll with a -1 penalty because you're doing a good job of keeping the pack together. But yeah, as I said, I think we'll probably come in on a scene of the three of you all meeting up together. I'll let you determine where you want that meeting to be, Garrett.
I think we're meeting in the upstairs of the pub.
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean, I've been up there cleaning it, getting the cobwebs out, trying to make it look, well, like something it isn't. I mean, we're basically talking about what amounts to a pub attic that nobody really ever uses. And I don't think anybody's actually tried to clean this thing in, I don't even know how many years. I mean, I'm finding like rat skeletons. So it's, and they're not in traps or anything like that. It's like they just kind of like, they were so depressed by this upstairs that they just laid down and had no more incentive to move around or keep living. So it's been pretty dingy. It's looking better. Still got some work to do, but it's better. There's a mop up there. There's a bucket with some water in it. There's soap. There's gloves. There's scrub brushes. Now there's something approaching a stage. I mean, yeah, it's a couple of fruit boxes that we set up with a table on it, but it's better than nothing.
Awesome. Sounds good.
So, Jax, did you finish settling your business?
Oh, I mean, it's always something new, but settled enough for the moment.
So, I know we didn't talk a lot about this, but I think I'm going to need you to lean on some of your contacts and see what kind of party favors you can provide for this. Because we're going to be bringing in people who don't necessarily want to drink.
Oh, yeah, no, we're well ahead of you on that.
Good, because that's, frankly, that's how we're going to make our money on this. We just we're going to have fun. It'll be enjoyable. Everybody's going to dance and have a good time. But that's how we're going to make a profit and be able to do the next one. And Jo, have you been making preps in case we happen to need any first aid?
I suppose I can get some. I can get some stuff. If you, what was his name? Not Logan, the other guy. Oh, Liam. That's it. Yeah. No, if Liam can provide stuff that doesn't kill anybody, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, Jax. Is he giving us good stuff this time, or is he giving us bleach and capsules again?
No. It's we've got a good supply at the moment. That's
Okay.
Shouldn't be an issue.
Because we can't actually make money off of people if they're dead and can't buy more pills.
Yeah, fair.
And Joe, I just basically what we're looking at here is harm reduction. We know they're going to be pilled up. The entire point here is making sure they don't get too pilled up, and we don't have to take them to the hospital or call an ambulance or anything else that's going to draw attention. So got to be ready for like people getting exhausted from dancing, people overheating. Might not be such a bad idea to have a few bags of ice around in case we need to put somebody in an ice bath.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Keep lots of cold water on hand.
Yeah, I mean,
some ice.
look, all this is important, but honestly, I'm a little bit more worried about members of the pack getting killed by these hunters. I think maybe that should be our priority.
How aware of us are they?
They're definitely aware that there are werewolves here.
Okay.
I don't think they know our names, but they had a pretty detailed map of places. I guess they thought that places they were going to on the full moon. And one of them was our place.
I don't know if they're all a bunch of experienced hunters who know what they're doing, or if there's just a few leaders among them. But there's a fair number of them, and they're well armed, if nothing else.
All right, Jax. I trust your judgment. Is this something where we can scare them off, or do we need to make a couple of people disappear? And if so, who do we need to make vanish?
Yeah, I don't think scaring them off is going to do it.
Okay.
I think that's going to just cement them in their conviction of what they're doing.
The guy I ran into at the farm seemed to be in charge.
All right. So, Jax, you're connected to other packs pretty well, right?
Try to be. I would say we gave Josie a heads up. We don't need these hunters stumbling on anyone out in the loose. They catch a few werewolves on their own. Any success is just going to encourage them. So we figured we should clue her in, since
Yeah.
they're tracking around on her territory too. She seemed happy to leave this problem to us. I have a feeling her and her pack are going to be scarce for a while.
Remember that old movie, Strangers on a Train, or whatever it was?
Didn't see it.
All right. And I
Where
saw
people
it.
murder each other's spouses or whatever. I think.
Something like that. What I'm thinking, Jax, is there another pack having a problem with hunters, like in another city, that we could kind of trade off this issue with? Like they come here and deal with our hunters, and we go there and deal with theirs. So we've got to, so we just kind of vanish, and they don't see us around much anymore. Maybe keep the law off our back as well as the hunters.
Guess maybe I could ask around.
I mean,
It's an interesting.
if it comes down to it, we'll handle it. But I'm trying to think of a way that, trying to make sure we don't shit where we eat, literally and figuratively.
Well, yeah, there's some people I could talk to. It's worth a shot, I guess. That's the plan.
And worst they can say is no, right? Maybe say you've got mange or something like that if they want to be jerks about it.
Well, at least, I mean, these hunters, I think how to deal with them is something most every pack can agree on, even if we don't always get along. So,
yeah.
Should be all right.
All right. Okay. Is there anything you need from me to get you started on that?
No, I guess just saying if I strike a deal that you'll back it.
If you can, let me know before you make that agreement. But otherwise, yeah. If you can't, if you have to shake hands right then, just if you can, try to make sure we're not like going after the mayor of London or something like that, because they're in a hunter or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm hoping it's going to be like all like Farmer Jones or whatever the hell his name is over there, where it's somebody that we can, I don't know, maybe hide the body. People will be curious and they'll ask some questions, but it'll die down after a while and just be an urban myth. Like, hey, remember when that guy vanished? It was really spooky and scary. But yeah, I'll back it.
All right.
Joe, I need a word with you for a second.
Sure.
All right. So let's go over here and chat real quick.
Yeah, all right.
Corner. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Why?
Well, I wanted to make sure you were holding up all right because, if I wanted to make sure you weren't blaming yourself for this.
Like I didn't help matters, but no, they've been at this a while. It looks like.
Yeah.
Before I came back.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you're okay with that, because this it could have happened to any of us.
Yeah. It'd take a pretty heavy sense of self-importance to take responsibility for all this, right?
Look, Logan probably would have done it, but well, that was Logan.
Yeah, that's true. But
I mean, he always like, if he didn't have the weight of the world on his shoulders, he damn well put it there.
yeah, true enough. I almost said I miss Logan, and then I don't know that that's necessarily true.
You know, I can miss him and still say he was a bastard. You know, both of those things are true.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, I can say this for him. He always did what he thought was right. He didn't necessarily think much about what was right in the first place, but
or the consequences. I gotta say, I am so glad not to be his fixer anymore.
oh, that must.
I'll put
I
it to
never
you this
thought
way.
about how hard that must have been.
Jax kind of has it easy. I mean, the reason I'm not really worried about bodies is because there's more than enough of them in those hills that I had to put there for Logan. But
Yeah.
so, is there anything you need from me? Anything I can do for you? Any messes I can sort?
Not that I know of. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, if you see Fran around, can you just, I don't know, keep an eye on her. This is going to sound strange.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to be adjusting to the wolf thing a little too well.
How so?
I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's just that I don't know. I was talking to her and she didn't seem like she was at all worried about it having any effect on the rest of her life. Seemed like she saw it as a fun adventure, which, I mean, that's great.
I mean, on the one hand,
yeah, I mean, I'm glad she's not fighting it and she's not upset about it, but I don't know. I think you take that a little too far, and next thing you know, you're fighting random people you run into at night.
I mean, honestly, I'm a little relieved because I thought you were going to say something like she was enjoying the hunting too much, and I was going to have to worry about her going rogue and like maybe killing people or something like that. Like, you know, she was just going to really lean into all that. So
I haven't seen that yet.
I'm a little relieved that she's just kind of, you know, wagging her tail, as it were.
Yeah, I hope that's all it is. I hope she's just, it's something new and different, and I hope that that's exactly what it is, and like this is, what she's secretly wanted all her life and didn't know it. That would be perfect. It's just that I've never seen anyone adjust to it that easily. It's too good to be true.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on her.
I'm just going to
Let's get on with this. Let's figure out what we got to figure out.
So, Jo, do you think that you are openly and truthfully expressing something that you're afraid of here?
No, I'm not openly and truthfully. I'm expressing an element of what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, sure thing.
But
No,
there's a big thing I'm leaving out.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's fair. I just thought I'd check in, but yeah, no, that's cool.
Well, that sounds like a good reason to roll provoke spill.
Yeah, sure thing.
That is a 7 on the dice, and with my heart, I believe that makes it 9.
Cool. So yeah, on a 9, you. So what? I'll read through what you get on a 9, which is that you. They have to make the spill move, and either you also have to spill, or you can allow them to omit an aspect of the truth in their response, at which point you don't gain the pack pool. However, if you have any tie on Joe, you can spend a point of tie to boost that up to a 10 plus.
And let me scroll down here to see. Why, I do indeed. I'll spend a point of tie to boost it to a 10. As I stop walking when I turn, it's like, Joe, I feel like there's something you're not telling me here.
About Fran?
You tell me. You're obviously worried.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess she's not actually a kid. She just seems like one to me. And like I saw her almost die.
You didn't mention this before.
She didn't tell you? No,
Oh?
some of Liam's pills, the bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she took so many of those, too many of those. And they brought her in while I was working, and she was passed out. There's not a lot of sign of life there, honestly.
Joe, what did you do?
Exactly what you thought I did.
You would think by now that I would have learned not to ask questions I don't want the answer to.
Yeah,
I swear to God, I'm going to learn that lesson someday. Maybe it'll be today, but someday.
that's half the reason I came back. I felt like, well, I felt responsible for her because I am. I'm the one who did this to her, and it wasn't just because Logan was gone that I asked to come back.
Does she know?
No, I don't think so. She didn't seem that great at hiding things, so I think I would know if.
Does anyone else know?
I don't think so. nobody was there at the time. And it's just a little bite between her thumb and her finger where it could have been anything, right? Just enough.
If it makes you feel better. You know what the pack of the coat is, or the coat of the pack is, right?
Well aware.
If it makes you feel any better, I think you may have found a loophole. Because at the time, you weren't really with the pack, right?
That's true.
So, and I'm not saying this because I want people to leave the pack and go biting people willy-nilly. If you weren't with the pack, that suggests to me that you are not necessarily bound by the code of the pack, right?
I guess not. That's
So, if it comes up, that's how we're going to handle it. And in the meantime, I'm going to pretend that we never had this conversation.
I'm same here.
Okay. Well, luckily, right now, things are pretty chill. I mean, Jax is the best we've got and at what he does. He's off trying to help us figure out the situation with the hunters. You're great at first aid. And you're working on... I want you to do something for me.
Sure.
Because this just occurred to me. While you're gathering supplies for the club night, can you put together... Hell, I don't even know what to call it. Like medical packs of some sort. Like we may be dealing with some gunshots here in the not too distant future. And the kind of gunshots we probably can't go to the ER to treat. So we're probably looking at being in somebody's flat and having you dig shotgun pellets out, whatnot. So considering you are the best we've got at first aid, if you can put together some stuff like that to, and I'm thinking specifically of Jax and I, because let's be real blunt. I'm not going to send Fran out to do it. I mean, Terry maybe. I mean, I'd be worried that he'd catch. I mean, he's not. He was never really good at that stuff. It was you when Logan was around. It was Logan, Jax, and I who handled this stuff. So we're one down on that, and it may get a little bit bloodier than I'd like for us. So
yeah, I've been thinking about that. I think I can get a hold of some stuff.
Okay. And then, David, is that sufficient to trigger who's a good wolf for both Jax and Jo, or do I need to ask them to make a specific move?
No, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah, I think certainly in the case of in the case of Jo, I think if Jo has to perform any first aid as a result of like I said, as a result of dealing with the hunters, then that will kind of kick in at that point because you've kind of set this up. I think that sounds fair.
All right. Okay. Let's be on about this then.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just
What could go wrong?
starting a new nightclub while being hunted by some crazy farmer vigilantes. This pack's had worse in the past. That's fine. We can handle it.
This is nothing. And you even forgot to mention the drugs.
True.
What could possibly go wrong?
So many things I don't know that it'd do any good to prepare for them.
That's the optimism I like from you.
Yeah, I'll see what kind of emergency supplies I can get. Hey, maybe they'll even leave some keys out.
That'd be helpful.
I'm not stealing enough drugs for the entire. We're not.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm just. If you got to stitch us up, make sure you got. What do you use? What is that stuff you put on, like when you stitch somebody up?
Antibiotics. Yeah, for sure. Gonna get some of that. That's. I don't need a key for that.
We're werewolves. We're used to this. We don't need a lot. Just enough to stitch us up. So. All right.
Sure thing.
I'm going to get on this and see what we can come up with. Thanks for coming back. I'm glad you're here to keep an eye on
Thanks
her.
for letting me.
Well, I would have let you even before I knew what happened. Now I'm glad you're here because at least there's somebody else to keep an eye on her. So.
Thanks for seeing it that way.
I don't do things the way Logan did. I didn't exactly like the way he did what he did. And I don't want to be him.
Yeah, one Logan was plenty.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to cut and shift over to what Jax is doing.
Oops, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, no, that sounds good to me. Just for that, for the spill that happened in there, Garrett, you'll take a tie. You'll basically take a tie back on Joe, and you'll also add one to your pack pool. And yeah, Jax, what's your plan?
Have I heard of any other werewolf packs dealing with hunters or having problems with these kind of hunters?
So I'm used to myself again. Yeah. So you there's probably at least one of the other local packs has probably had some, if not run-ins, at least are kind of exposed to the threat of them. Yeah.
Then I guess, yeah. I mean, anyone I know, I guess I would reach out with this plan that my alphas put forward to trade hunters. You bite my hunter, I'll bite
Sure
yours.
thing. Yeah. So I think what you'll sort of get back on the from kind of the people you talk to is and this is probably you probably talk to some people in kind of a similar position to you in other packs, and kind of the what you kind of get back is one of the other local packs, just from a bit further north, who kind of also their territory doesn't quite border up against yours because there tends to be a bit of like neutral space between all of the territories, but they're kind of the nearest neighbor to the north. The woman you speak to, she will say, look, we're happy to help you with these people. If you need, we'll give you backup. But if I take this to my alpha as we're helping you as we're dealing with this threat for you, he's going to expect a lot in return. I suspect more than your people will be willing to give. But we can certainly help. There are, if hunters like this get around, they will. They're a problem for everyone. We need to nip this in the bud before we can. Honestly, I think if we can lure them to somewhere remote in between our territories, strike them there, that minimizes the risk of any of us being found out. And also, it's probably the best way of keeping things friendly between our packs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wasn't thinking of striking them when they were lured out somewhere, because that's when they're going to be on their highest guard. But I guess if we're working together, we can still be enough to overwhelm them, and that might be the safest place to do it.
Yeah, out in the hills somewhere where no one's going to see anything, and no one's going to find anything.
Okay, let me take this back to my pack, and we'll see if we can't coordinate something.
Sure thing. Well, just give me a call when you know what you want to do, and we'll work together on this. We can get together on fairly short notice, especially for something of this severity.
Okay, I'll be in touch.
Cool. Right, I think we'll take a quick break there. Just gone past the hour. If we come back and call it 10 past, and we'll pick up where people want to go next. Okay, cool. See you all in a few minutes.
All you have to do is
Right. Welcome back, everyone. Awesome. So, I guess how do you think you're going to proceed with this? Is there anything like all of you at this point? Is there?
I mean, Jax would go back to Garrett and say, "Yeah, they're not interested in taking out the hunters for us, but they'll join us if we can lure them out into neutral territory, and we can
That's all we have to do?
both strike them together."
All we got to do is lure them out into neutral territory?
That's what they said. She said they could get together quickly and they would work together with us.
Huh. Jax, when's the next football game?
Like local game or?
Yeah.
I imagine Jax would know the answer to that.
Because I'm thinking it might be real easy for us to act like a couple of drunks staggering out of the football game after it's over, singing songs, maybe let out a couple of wolf howls. That ought to get their attention, get them together, especially if we do it a few more times. You can just kind of lure them out, acting like we're just a couple of drunk werewolves.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? Seem like a good idea?
Yeah, it's worth a try.
I mean, if they think we're drunk, I mean, they're probably going to be off their guard a little bit. If they think there's only two of us, might
Yeah,
be a little
and
less careful.
if we're offering them kind of a attack of opportunity, we're not going to probably draw their full forces. They won't be able to get everyone together. I think we're probably better off not trying to give them time to collect all their resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could work. Or we could, coordinate with this other pack and then show up.
Absolutely. What I'm saying is, they're already in position, like in a remote area, and we draw their attention by, wandering along, singing songs, howling a little bit, lead them straight to the other pack. We all get them together.
No, if it works great. If we don't actually deliver anyone into the trap, we end up kind of looking like fools. But
got another idea? I mean,
Jax, just weighing pros and cons. That's all.
Listen, I wouldn't have tapped you to be the fixer if I didn't believe in you, if I didn't think that you knew how to do this stuff and you'd bring good ideas, right? You're clever. You're crafty. I'm just floating this as an idea because it's what I can think of. You're always better at this stuff than I was. I mean, Logan just kind of pointed at somebody and said they need to disappear, and, well, they weren't around anymore. You're always sharper.
Let's just... I mean, this is a good way to go. It's just... we're kind of setting the spring to... the trap to spring, whether we know they've taken the bait or not.
Yeah. Can you think of a way we can make sure they take the bait?
Maybe not.
The only other thing that might occur to you, Jax, is obviously, the best bait for them is an actual werewolf. That goes without saying. If you could possibly the only other thing you might be able to do is put them onto see if I've got the guy's name written down here. The person who was thrown out of your pack, whose name escapes me at present. Let's see if I can find it. If I've got it written
Steve
down.
Smith.
Yes. Who I believe you still. If anyone could get in touch with him, it's probably you. You might be able to convince him to, meet up somewhere out in the hills. Whether you're willing to do that, of course, is an entirely separate question. But that's certainly another possibility on the table that I think probably would occur to Jax.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that if that is something that occurs to Jax, he probably wouldn't tell me about it, since I chased the dude out of the pack in the first place. But at least he should get a +1 for rolling on it, since I've pointed out that he's the crafty and clever one.
I mean, the only way I can think to be sure we're going to lead them out there is we actually have to go to one of them and maybe attack them and run off and lead them into the trap.
Okay. You got a point.
It's, I guess, the riskier method, but hopefully more likely to we'll actually get the result we want.
You want to do the honors, or do you want me to do it?
I could do it.
Okay. Make sure you don't create another werewolf. Understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We want to do enough damage to them that they never try anything with us again. And whether that's because there's not enough, or they're too pissed scared, or both, I don't much care. We need to remind them why they think they should be hunting us. And show them why that's the dumbest fucking idea they ever had.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good. So I think unless anyone has anything they want to do prior to this taking place, we'll probably just skip ahead to the plan going into action, and see how it goes from there. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I think you're probably from like the notes and stuff you saw when you did the reconnaissance on the on that barn on the other day. You can probably know when like their next meeting is going to be taking place. I think. Which will probably be like the next day or so, because I think at the minute they're meeting up fairly regularly, as this is sort of kicking into higher gear for them, and they probably are just meeting back up at that barn again. So that's probably the easiest place where you're going to get a large concentration of them in one group.
And I think I want to be there well ahead of the meeting, and just whoever's the first to arrive will be they'll just be attacked, and then a trail leading away is the idea. Nope, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, that sounds good. Cool. So I'm going to guess that you'll be doing this in wolf form, because that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
When you turn into wolf form, you can, if you wish, choose to roll. I always get the names of these ones confused. Give in to the wolf, that you're not required to. But it can give you some bonuses if you succeed. If you fail, then obviously things can go badly. Do you wish to make that roll, or do you just want to take the cosmetic shift, as it were?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So yeah, that's a roll with feral.
Yeah, which I'm not great at, I don't think. Yeah, that's all right. Here goes nothing. That's a 6.
Does the pack move? Oh God, what is it? Who's a good wolf? Does that apply?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're kind of, because this is essentially the first point of putting that plan into action. I think it will count for that. Yep.
Then that's a 7.
And
so yeah.
One other question: since he's acting on behalf of the pack, can he actually go ahead and use pack pool?
So I believe there have to be at least 2 of you acting in concert for this, which currently there aren't. So on this particular roll, no.
So 2 present simultaneously.
Yep, basically. But once you are there together, everything you're doing is kind of in accordance with it. So from that point onwards, you will be able to help each other out on that. But yeah, so that's a 7 anyway, which gets you one choice from the list, which are to reduce your heart and guts by 2 each and increase. Oh, well, sorry, not to reduce by 2 in total in any combination you choose, and increase your teeth and feral by up to 2 in mirror to that while you're in wolf form. You can do an additional harm with your bite and claws. You can gain 2 armor. You can just add 2 points to the pack pool. Or when you return from being wolf form, you will heal 1 additional harm. Which one of those would you like to choose?
Interesting. Reducing heart and guts for teeth and feral is pretty interesting.
Yep, that's definitely something that could come in handy.
So it's definitely
certainly.
It's reducing
I can see both.
Sorry, go.
Yeah, no, as I was going to say, yeah, it's quite likely that this plan will involve rolling on both teeth and feral at some point. So
yeah, and it's reducing the 2 that I'm good at for the 2 that I'm not good at in a situation where those are the 2 that I might want. So I think that's kind of the way to go.
Sure thing.
Let's see. So I got to think about what the different feral. Okay, I guess I will lose 2 guts, because guts is all about disobeying and challenging. So that's definitely not what I'm doing right now. Yeah. I'm dealing with these humans. And I guess teeth. Using act under threat or physical violence. Let's just give the 2 to teeth.
Sure thing. Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, you've turned into your wolf form, and I think you've kind of subsumed a bit to the will of the pack, and you're fiercer as a result. Yeah, you've got yourself like hidden away somewhere, and a guy actually turns up on like a little basically on a dirt bike, and it's clear, even in sort of like dim twilight, this is clearly a dirt bike that is used for driving across country a lot. It's battered, it's covered in mud. The guy does have a shotgun, so it's just slung across the pillion, basically, and he kind of gets off the bike, picks up the gun, slings it over his shoulder. It's broken at the minute. It's not loaded. And I think he's going to start heading over to the barn. He lights up a cigarette as he's going. And yes, you can put your plan into action.
Yeah, I'm just, as soon as he's as close as he can get to me, without making sure I haven't been seen, I'm just going to rush him and.
Cool. Yep. So. Yeah, this will be. Well, I'll get you to make a mauling roll first. So that's a roll with teeth.
It's 12.
12, perfect. So you get to choose 2 of the following list. You take 1 less harm from your opponent. You deal an additional 1 harm to your opponent. You discern your opponent's next move. You knock someone out. You impress or intimidate someone, or you do not take -1 forward on your next given to the wolf move. So I'm probably going to say you'll probably be wanting to choose your impress or intimidate somebody to kind of represent getting the attention of his compatriots and getting them to follow you. But yeah, feel free to choose as you wish.
Got it. Okay, to like make sure that part of the plan is working. Yeah, so impress or intimidate, and I'll knock him out.
Sure thing. I think as you come for him, he does reflexively. He just swings wildly at you with the butt of the shotgun, which it just sort of catches you on the side of the head as you're coming for him, but it doesn't slow you down, and you sort of bear him to the ground. So you can take me 1 point of harm for that. As I said, it's not a particularly measured or lethal attack, but just gets him in panic. And I think at this point you can start to see like kind of the lights of like a Land Rover coming up the track next. And I think what I will probably ask is if you can make me an act on instinct roll as you to basically make your escape into the trap. That's a roll with feral.
That's an 8.
That's an 8. Okay, cool. So, yep, you do it. You'll get away. But I think the way that the situation isn't under your control is that the first, like you said, this first lander comes up. A couple of people get out of it, and they obviously spot what's happened, see the trail going off, and possibly even catch just a glimpse of you disappearing into the moonlight. And those sort of couple of people there, they set off after you in like immediate pursuit, rather than waiting for these sort of others to turn up. They're not going to be able to catch up with you. You are much faster than them, and you will easily be able to kind of get to where the others are before they catch up with you. But the rather than like it being all of the hunters turning up in one big group, they're going to be straggling in, which in some ways is an advantage. You're not going to pull off an ambush on like all of them in one big group, essentially. Cool. So we'll cut to the other two of you as you're waiting in ambush for these for the hunters to turn up. How are both of you looking when we see you sort of waiting there?
Why don't you go ahead, Bethany?
I assume we're already both in wolf form, although maybe not. I don't. I think I am, and just kind of like pacing back and forth, looking, make sure nobody's coming, pace back and forth some more. Just very antsy.
I am on my back, wriggling around like I'm trying to scratch my back on the dirt. mean, something's itching back there and I can't scratch it. So this is the next best thing.
Awesome. Cool. So, I guess I'll ask both of you as well. Do you wish to make the give into the wolf roll? Again, you're not obligated to, but you can if you so desire.
I do have that 0 in feral. Yeah, sure. Eight.
Cool. That will get you one choice from the list. I won't read through it again, but yeah, feel free to choose any of those that you want.
What's our pack pool look like?
I think your pack pool is currently. Now this gets into the interesting thing. Your pack pool is currently 10. So if you bump your pack pool up to 12, that does open up the overwhelm them pack move, which you can activate if you so wish, or you also have the 8 pack pool move to defend your territory, or the 10 pack pool move to have a contingency if things go wrong.
Isn't overwhelm them basically an I win button?
Yeah, basically, yep.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and add to the pack pool. Yeah.
Sure thing. Sure,
at least one of those things will come in handy at some point.
Yeah, brilliant. Cool. So, I think at this point is when we see Jax running into the. I imagine it's down. There's kind of a bit of a valley between a couple of hills. It's a bit wooded at the sides, which is where you're kind of waiting for them. Jax will run to where you are, and you can hear the sound of shouting from a little bit away. Probably see some like torches shining through the murk. There's that I don't think they have followed on in vehicles because it's just not really that's suitable even with the extra speed. But a couple of minutes later, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say we probably deliberately picked the location to a place where they couldn't take their vehicles to get there, I would think, or the path that I led them on.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, you'll see. And more than anything, I suppose you'll smell kind of. Again, you can kind of smell that like sharp scent of like the wax on jackets and oil on guns, and the scent of their sweat, which it probably. Obviously, you can smell the exertion as they're coming up here, but there's definitely the undercurrent of both, excitement and fear mingled together, and probably also anger, as the first couple of the hunters come sort of towards this copse of trees where you're lying in ambush, and the other pack will be here as well, or they're possibly like ringed out a little bit further to kind of cut off their retreat. But yeah, so yeah, as the the first couple of people run in. They've got shotguns that are clearly now loaded and ready for use. What do you do?
Just as a question, if we activate Overwhelm them, does that count for all of the hunters or just these two? You're muted.
Sorry, I just turned. I forgot had already been unmuted. Yeah, no, absolutely. That will, it essentially it nullifies that threat. So yeah, you don't have to kind of wait for the entire group to get here before activating it. You can just use it straight away if you wish.
Ryan, Bethany, what do you think? Do we want to go through a fight scene and roll, or do you want to just kind of fast forward past this?
I'm kind of interested in the fight, but
yeah, and I mean we can always kind of start the fight against these first couple of people, and then if you decide at that point,
yeah, when it starts to drag on, that's when to pull that out and use it.
Sure thing.
Or if we're getting beaten terribly.
Cool. So yeah, in which case, Bethany, or Joe, I should say, what are you going to do as these hunters sort of make their way in? They're coming probably they're coming at a jog, I'd say, but they're not moving too fast because obviously the ground is fairly uneven and they have limited light available to them. But
yeah, as soon as I hear or smell them, I kind of stop the nervous pacing and creep around a little bit to so that I can cut them off from behind when they show up. And I'm a little surprised that there are only 2 of them, or is there 3?
2 or 3. A small handful of people.
So I think I'm hesitating a little bit, waiting, like, okay, where are the rest? But it seems to just be these 2. So I think I'm gonna be. I think I'm gonna be a little bit more cautious last time, or than last time I turned into a wolf and went hunting. And I'm gonna wait for Garrett's signal.
Sure. Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, Garrett, how are you proceeding?
Oh, I guess it's time to do work. Right. Yeah, I'm just going to go straight for mauling. Just jump on them, roll them over. I mean, use my big old wolf teeth on their weak little human arms and necks and heads.
Sure thing. So yeah.
Roll.
Yeah, if you'd like to roll with teeth for that.
That's a pretty obvious signal.
Wow, that's a 7.
That's a 7. Okay, cool. So on a 7, you can lost the thing. So yeah, you can take -1 harm from them, deal +1 harm to them, discern their next move, knock someone out, impress or intimidate someone, or you can avoid taking -1 forward on your next given to the wolf move.
I think I knock one of them out.
Yeah, that tracks. So yeah, I think you leap out of the underbrush and grab him, and like grab him by the arm and just sort of haul him around and into a tree. There's a sort of unpleasant crunching sound, and he falls down to the floor, unconscious at the very least. And the other man in the clearing blasts in your general direction with the shotgun. It's not like a particularly well aimed or lined up shot, but you do get hit by a few pellets, and that will be 2 harm, please.
Quick question. I had 2 harm on my sheet from last time. Did that heal?
Oh yeah, that will have healed by now.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave that on there then.
Cool. Joe, I guess I guess that was your signal to leap into action.
Yeah, I think maybe the reason this shot was so poorly aimed is because Joe landed on him from behind as he was aiming the gun. And let me roll 2 more here. Hey, it's not negative, is it? No, 10.
10, nice. So yeah, on a 10 you get to choose 2 from that list again. I won't read through all the options again, but you can choose any 2 you would like.
I want to. Okay, so if there's another group of people coming, but this is the last of these ones, would impress or intimidate someone be applicable in any way?
Probably not hugely at the minute, I'd say. Well, that said, sorry. Sorry about that. You could, if you wish to, you could potentially impress somebody in the other pack that's kind of.
Oh yeah,
get in if you wanted to do that, that would certainly be legit.
Yeah, so I want to knock him out and impress or intimidate the other pack.
Sure thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think you said you leap onto this guy's back. He is going to club back at you again with the butt of his shotgun, but not very effectively because he can't really properly get to you. So you will take me 1 harm, but you overbear him to the ground, and yeah, he's out of the fight. And I think seeing that a howl echoes from a little bit further up the hillside. It's kind of a howl of a sort of not quite a victory howl, but it's certainly a kind of celebratory and howl, and also designed to kind of inspire the pack as the alpha of the other pack, who I will name shortly. Lets out a howl as he sees you sort of take down the first of these, the first little group of this of these people. Jax, what are you planning? What's your sort of next? What are you doing now?
Well, we've had some howls and some shotgun shots, so I guess I want to kind of see that if the rest of the hunters are still on track to fall into our trap, or
sure thing. So yeah, if you could make me a harness the wolf roll, please. That's a roll with heart.
It's a 9.
A 9. Okay, so you get to ask 1 question from the list on a 9. And you then get +1 forward if you immediately act on it.
Oh, where does the pack need to be? That seems like a good fit. I don't see
Yeah,
it. It's like either that or where's my prey.
sure
But
thing.
I think I like where does the pack need to be. That sounds good.
No, that sounds cool. Yeah. So you so yeah, I think what you will get, you can definitely tell. So you can tell from your from hearing and from scent that the well, what you presume to be the rest of the hunters, it's certainly like about a dozen or so people are in like one group. So you would assume that they have all kind of at this point, after those first couple went off, they waited to come together en masse. They're a little. They're probably about a minute or two away. But so obviously, like I said, the members of the other pack were a little bit back behind you and further up to kind of close in on people and trap them in if need be. You think, however, with the having heard that that howl from the other pack, and also probably from at this point from the trepidation, or not even necessarily trepidation, but from the hunters are probably less likely to actually come straight into the copse of trees where you are, and the best way to deal with them now is probably to actually go sort of on the offensive and go towards them rather than waiting for them to come to you. The other thing you will you possibly hear like a couple of shots ring out from the group that's coming as well, and there is definitely, as well as the shotguns, you definitely hear the sound of a couple of rifles being fired as well, which not like automatic or anything, but just proper hunting rifles sort of thing. But obviously they give them a bit more of an advantage at range than the shotguns do.
Yeah, I guess I will, let out a howl and go running to where I think we need to kind of cut them off. Or
Sure thing. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and the other two of you, I guess, are you pursuing as well?
Yeah.
I'm going to roll Harness the Wolf real quick.
Yeah, by all means.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Have fun making your hard move. There's no way to get that to anything remotely resembling a partial success.
Right, fair. Okay, so yeah, so I think there's that moment where as you're kind of taking in the scene, your head goes up, you sniff the air, and as you do so, there is again that loud crack of a rifle going off, and it hits you square in the chest, and I'd like to take me 3 harm from that, please. And yeah, that's going to
just to make sure I understand this. So that means I had 2 harm on the improving track. So that
Yep.
fills up the improving, and then I add 2 to stable.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And yeah, when you're in stable, obviously that's fine. Fine. You're not going to get any worse.
This is fine.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fine.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, and I think that's going to obviously take your legs out from under you for a moment. You're going to be able to get back up again and continue forwards, but that's certainly wasn't a pleasant experience. So Jo, what are you going to do?
I think I'm running after Jax when I hear this. The shot go off behind me and turn around and oh shit, there's Garrett's just been shot. And what can I do about that? Let's see. I have a move for this. Hey, check. So I'm gonna run back and check on him and see if I can help him at all. And what am I rolling on? Roll guts. Plus guts, warrior ties on them. And 2. I need someone the 1st to 6th. Wait, no, that's 7th to 9th. Okay. You're muted.
And I can't find the button. Yeah, cool. So yeah, you can either roll guts or your ties on them, whichever you'd rather.
I'm rolling guts.
Cool.
That is an 11.
An 11, excellent. So you will heal 3 harm from Garrett. And tell me how that looks as you kind of are healing them in your wolf form.
This is a good question because
alternatively, if you want to, you can, if you wish, change back at this point and do it, but do it in human form. But yeah, let me know what it looks like anyway.
I think I do. I think I don't know how to do this in wolf form, so I think I do change back to human form at this point. And I'm just like, okay, you're putting pressure on the wounds, make sure he doesn't bleed out, because we're werewolves, we heal fast, but not if we die before we can heal. And I think mostly just stopping the bleeding, and he can probably just heal himself from there.
Awesome. Yeah, and you manage the most important thing actually. Once you get it in is and again, this is probably not a maneuver you go straight into if you weren't dealing with someone with preternatural healing abilities, but you actually, this is probably something you do kind of almost instinctually because you have your suspicions, but you dig the bullet out just with a finger, and it's as you pull it out, it does tingle a bit, and you realize that this is a silver bullet. So getting it out of him probably a good call.
Yeah.
I woof and lick your cheek.
Excellent.
And they have silver bullets. Don't let them do that again.
I wolf again.
And yeah, Jax, are you continuing your charge into the group of hunters?
Yeah, definitely. I thought I knew where the pack needed to be, so I'm gonna still try to lead them there.
Sure thing. So yeah, if you're just going to go straight in and try and take out a hunter, then that would be mauling. Or if you want to try and do something else, then let me know what you want to do, and we'll go from there.
No, mauling sounds like exactly what I want to do.
Perfect. And yeah, you will be a +1 to this from the harness of wolf roll you made before.
So I needed it because I got a 7 with that.
Perfect. So that will again one choice off of the mauling list.
I'm starting to stack -1s forward on my give in to the wolves. That's interesting that happens. I will discern my opponent's next move. Because right now it's all about you got to keep them corralled.
Sure thing.
We got to
so you think
humans.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, and that's probably actually what you do kind of get is they've obviously they weren't prepared for there being quite as many wolves here as there are. They are mostly fighting defensively now. They're probably actually going to at this point start to kind of pull back. And they're doing that sort of thing of like moving together, keeping guns pointed in as many directions as possible. It's going to be tricky for them to get out of this, in all honesty. But yeah, they are going to. But the one thing you will get as on top of that, the one thing you'll know is that they aren't going to surrender. They are all willing to fight to the end, basically. Unless anything changes that, but yeah, that's certainly at the moment they are willing to go down guns blazing, sort of thing. And yeah, you will rip into one of the hunters. He goes down. He's probably not completely out, but he's mostly out of the fight at this point. But again, you will take. I think I'm probably going to say 3 harm this time, as again someone managed to get a fairly good shot on you with a rifle as you sort of charge in, or a couple of people get shots on you with shotguns or something. But yeah, you will take 3 harm from their attacks as you kind of dart in and take this guy out. So Garrett, now you're back up and running again. What's your plan?
Who seems to be the leader?
It's definitely the man who Joe saw the other day. He's tall. He's a bit older. He's probably like in his is that kind of age where it's kind of difficult to tell, but he's probably in his 50s. His hair is like, if it's not bald, it is shaved, and he's quite tall but very stocky.
Okay.
And he has got he's got like a shotgun slung over his back, but he's definitely one of the people who is wielding a rifle with some expertise.
Right. I'm going to go straight for him.
Excellent.
And I'm going to try to maul, and that puts me at a 9.
9.
Wish that had been a 10.
Would you like some help?
We're not burning pack pool.
Let's see. Can I help without burning pack pool?
You would need
die.
to spend a point of pack pool for that. Yep.
Okay. So we
No.
can't do it with ties.
Exactly 12, isn't it?
No, ties is only if you are targeting that person with a move. You can use tie.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm going to deal +1 harm to him.
Certainly. And yeah, that will. He's tough and he's seasoned, but he is ultimately a man.
He's ultimately not a werewolf.
Exactly. And so with that, yeah, you will be able to just you take him by the throat and pull him down to the ground, and he goes down bleeding and is probably not going to get back up again.
Did that alter the calculus of the fight?
Not yet, I don't think. I think they are still willing to fight. The remainder of them, and you will take another 2 harm from somebody unloading a shotgun on you. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely working towards it.
Is there anyone else who still has a rifle?
Yes, there's another man who has a rifle. He's actually relatively young, but yeah, he's also got a rifle. He's probably actually reloading it at the moment, but yeah, he's much like the leader. He was a bit closer into the center of the pack, but you can definitely make a path to him.
Oh yeah, that's. We can deal with shotguns. Silver bullets are a different story. So yeah, I am gonna go maul him.
Excellent. Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna maul him and get a total of 5. Wait, with teeth. Wait, no, that's only a 6.
Sure thing. So, I think you you charge you charge in, and as you leap towards him, he for a moment he looks panicked, but his hand comes up and he has a long hunting knife in it, and he jabs it into your chest and kind of deflects your charge. Let's go with a knife. Obviously, that's out of his hand now. But, you will take 2 harm from that, and I think that is the point. When you collectively realize that the other wolves haven't come down from the hill yet. They seem to be holding off for some reason or other. You were expecting them to have joined the melee by now, but they haven't yet. So, what do you do?
So,
I'm gonna, if I have an opportunity, I'm going to bite this guy's arm, make him drop the gun. But yeah, that sucks. We're kind of all alone out here. Wonderful.
So this is starting to feel like a setup with another pack, basically saying we're just going to let them get weak and then come in and finish them off. So if we trigger overwhelm now, does that count for both the pack and the hunters?
Yes, I think you'll probably you won't necessarily. You'll certainly, it will let you take out the hunters, and it will probably at least discourage the other pack from trying anything. And yeah,
we could take a shot at trying to dominate the other pack into joining the fight.
Dominates with heart, isn't it?
Teeth, I think, for
Teeth.
dominate.
Oh, what the hell. I'm going to run back up to their alpha and dominate the bastard.
Sure thing.
What's the worst that could happen?
Well, let's see.
That is an 11 on the dice.
Things like further out of control.
So,
yep, that's cool. And yeah, on a 10+, you take full control of the situation. NPCs will do as they're told. So yeah, I think you let out a howl, and at that point, the alpha lets out the alpha of the other side lets out an answering howl, and with that, they will descend down the hillside and join in the fight. And I think with their assistance as well, the fight is effectively over now.
good, because I was going to let them finish it up anyway while we got treated and like patched ourselves up and everything, since they sat back there and did sweet FA.
Exactly. Cool. And I will just call a quick break now. So yeah, for about 5 minutes. And then we will kind of come back and do a little bit of wrap up and some epilogues, I think. And obviously we'll have the post victory celebration. But yeah, come back in about 5 minutes. Cool. Welcome back, everyone. So like I said, I think what we'll do now, unless there's any like scenes anyone wants to do in the immediate aftermath of the fight, we will probably switch to some celebrations. I'm presuming at the club night. The only other housekeeping bit to notice that when you turn back from your wolf form, you will heal 2 points of harm each.
I do have one question for Jax. Based on what you know, do we need to worry about these wolves, considering how they held back with this? Is this a problem which we should take care of now, or should we wait to see if it's a problem that kind of resolves itself? I mean, this is your world. You know it.
I mean, I don't know that now's the time while we're all injured to deal with it. I don't think any of us or any of them is going to forget how this went down, though.
Okay. Fair enough. We are still sitting on that 12 points pack pool. I mean, this is basically just a freebie.
Yeah, you can, if you wish, just spend that and decide how you wish to deal with them. But yeah,
I mean, you want some minions, Jax? Last time I checked, taking out an alpha basically means we absorb their pack.
Kind of sounds fun.
All right. Any objections, Joe?
None.
All right. Let's blow the pack, pull alphas out of the picture. And we each get to narrate one cool thing we did, right? Is that how?
Yes. No, I didn't mute. Sorry, I was just paranoid. I've done it so many times this evening that I thought I'd muted myself again. Yes. So the everyone describes one awesome thing they do in the fight, and the person that spent the pack pool gets to describe the overall glorious victory. So yeah, you each get to kind of narrate one cool thing. Then we'll go back to Garrett to kind of cap it off. So yeah, I think to frame this, I think kind of after the hunters have been taken down, you've kind of regrouped to with each other. The other pack have they're also kind of licking their wounds, and you'll just kind of get that moment where the alpha of the other pack looks over, and you can just like see him making that. You can just see him kind of eyeing up his odds kind of thing against you. As you know, he's probably still a bit annoyed at you having kind of caught him on his shit in the fight. So you just get that moment where he's sort of eyeing you. And that is presumably when the first starts to fly. Yes, so each of you gets to narrate one cool moment of your character acting in this fight, and then we'll come back to Garrett for the final kind of summation of how it goes. So yeah, who wants to go first?
I think the way Jax contributes is he's actually able to lock eyes with that kind of fixer from the other pack that he had the conversation with, and is able to. I don't know if they speak or if it's unspoken, but it's just kind of like, this the way you guys behaved. You've got this coming now, and just kind of like her and whoever maybe might agree with us and her kind of kind of won over in that moment.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and just a couple of them again do that thing where they just kind of back off a little bit and just wait to see how it goes. Awesome. Yeah, and Joe.
Yeah, I see Jax do this. Like, all right, good move, Jax. Yes. And I look for the one who's least convinced. Like the one who's big and tough and firmly believes that he can still take us. Maybe standing like next to the alpha, ready to back him up and just go for him, knock him down, have my teeth on his throat, with like no preliminaries, no growls or nothing, just like bam.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and Garrett.
Go straight for the alpha.
Yep.
I saw that moment of calculation, and I don't think the alpha was expecting us to do what we did. So there's a moment of surprise, and that's all it takes for me to catch the alpha's head in my teeth and crush his skull in my jaw.
Awesome. Yeah, and seeing that the rest of his pack all kind of go down and lower their noses in submission, as you have proved yourself the stronger, and yes, they will join up with you.
Good. Jax gets some minions. Maybe Jo gets some minions. Who knows?
Nah, I don't know what to do with minions. I have a hard enough time keeping an eye on Fran.
Awesome. So yeah, like I said, I think we'll just have one last little scene of you all together at the club, and I think it is, it's fairly busy. The music's playing. I'll let you set the scene a bit more, but yeah, and maybe just like see some last moments of you all together, and then I'll get everyone to do a quick epilogue at the end. So yeah, I'll start. Garrett, do you want to set the scene a little bit at the opening night of your club night?
Well, I am reasonably sure that there's a couple of pack members who aren't present. I mean, maybe they dropped by earlier to say, hey, good luck tonight. But for example, Sarah Turner, come on. Maybe we met her for tea earlier in the evening or something like that, and she said, good luck, here, have a biscuit. But, a club night? No, that's not her. But because we were able to absorb the rest of the pack, we've got some more lookouts in case we see the cops coming. We've got a couple more people who have a decent supply of pills on them to move through the crowd and make sure everybody's having a good time. There's quite a bit of people there. We were able to have more people on the street and like handing out flyers, inviting people, spreading the word. I think there's actually a line to get in. Fran's on stage DJing. She's actually better than I thought she'd be. So, I mean, I had no idea she had this many deep cuts in her collection. So far, so good.
Awesome. And yeah, how is Jax finding the evening? Is he working or enjoying himself more?
Yeah, I think Jax is probably more enjoying himself than working. I think he's checking in with lots of people, but he did a lot of work leading up to this. I don't think if a problem crops up, if someone needs to step in and calm a situation down or something, he might. But for the most part, he's just having a good time.
Awesome. Yeah, and how's Jo? How's Jo finding the evening?
I think pretty much the same as Jax. Like, just gonna dance and get kind of absorbed in the music. And if anybody needs me, I'm here. Come get me.
Awesome. Yeah. So, do any of you want any last scenes with each other, either in pairs or all together? Any unresolved issues you want to broach?
Jo, you're not even going to dance tonight? After all we did to get here?
Yeah, I suppose I should, shouldn't I?
I mean,
Can't be
this is the
here
place to take your shoes off.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've been to one of these real job, real world stuff.
Look,
But tonight I should enjoy it.
You should, and you don't. You don't have to really go crazy. You don't really have to live it up, but just enjoy yourself. Stop worrying for once. I mean, tonight's going well. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but for right now, it's good.
Yep, sure is. I'm not worried. We're gonna. Yeah, and I like when the song changes to something, something I recognize, because my record collection is not nearly as extensive as Garrett's or Fran's. Yeah, that's what I get up and dance with everybody else.
There you go. Take a deep breath and sigh.
This is a good place.
It is a good place, isn't it?
Yeah. And now that we're unlikely to have a bunch of people storming in here with guns after us, at least not, vigilantes, at least not that group. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, word will get around.
I kind of feel bad for the pub owner. Because we're going to need a bigger space next time.
Yeah. Might have to cut some kind of deal.
We might need the ground floor, too. I mean, it's going to suck for him. He's going to have to make more money.
So
I'm glad you're back, Joe.
glad to be back. Yeah.
I think that's probably a good place to cut to epilogues, isn't it, David?
Yes, certainly. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Jax, was there anything else you wanted to add in? Or no? Awesome.
Oh, that's an adorable cat.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, we'll just we'll go to some epilogues. These can be, the next day or a decade into the future, however you wish. But just a little something for each character, just give us a view of where they may be. So I'm going to go back to my old standby of character keeper order, and Jax. What do we see of Jax in his epilogue?
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be. You've got to see Arthur. Maybe we even see what's her name, Josie. Yeah, I think you see him kind of this deal maker between different packs, keeping negotiating agreements between packs.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you. And Joe, what do we see? What do we see of her?
I think after kind of looking out for Fran until she, kind of assimilates fully into the pack and starts resenting it. I think Joe sort of becomes the person who integrates new pack members into the pack and looks out for them and teaches them how to get by as a wolf, what not to do, because from personal experience, she has some things that what not to do, but also just like, I think she's kind of like ends up being like what's her name? I think she ends up filling in for Sarah as like sort of the person who introduces new people to the pack, whether they're newly bitten werewolves or newly, however they became werewolves, or they're transferred in here from another pack.
Awesome, that sounds perfect. And yeah, finally, Garrett, what do we see of him?
What was the name of this pub again? The Crown something?
The Crossed Swords, I think.
Crossed Swords. And what year is this set in?
Early 70s, 71, 72, somewhere around that, I think.
All right. So I think sometime around 96, 97, there's a BBC special. Whatever happened to the Crossed Swords? And you see a BBC commentator talking about all the fun they had there as a kid. And yeah, it got a little rough sometimes. And yeah, it was got a little out of control. And there were some people who did some pills, but mostly it was just a bunch of kids dancing to soul music, and it was good old-fashioned, clean fun. But whatever happened to that place? And they start trying to track down the legends and the people who are involved with it. And they can't find Garrett anywhere. He's just gone. And whoever the current alpha of the pack knows that he's actually just fucked off to Wales. And he's living in a little stone hut somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, probably trying to make his own scotch or something like that. Just he's a gray pelt now. It wasn't even one of those things where he was challenged. He's just like, you know what? I'm old. I've had enough of this. It's time for me to retire. And people know how to reach him if they really need to. But most of the time, the pack's okay, and they don't really need to. And he just sits out there drinking his tea. Periodically, when the mood strikes him, he goes out for a run, sometimes in human form, sometimes in wolf form. Tries to leave the sheep alone.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone. It's been a good fun run. I'm going to stop the recording now.